Hello, Clint here, Crimson Landscape, here to talk about your front landscape design. All right. I know we've gone back and forth on the driveway, on expanding the driveway. I'm just not 100% sure that the juice is worth the squeeze at the moment. Just for the simple fact that the one thing I didn't notice was that light city lamppost there. It doesn't show up on your survey, but when I went back and looked at the pictures, it's there. It'll be a major event to get this relocated to widen the driveway. So probably the best course of action is wait long term, see how you use the driveway, then determine if it makes sense to widen it or not. Entirely up to you. We can start fighting the fight with the city to get this lamppost moved over, to get this driveway wider. It's one of those things. If you're going to widen the driveway, widen the driveway. You know, don't spend the cash for 2 inches or for 6 inches or 12 inches. You spend the money for 24 inches, if that makes sense. Also, how you're going to use this space long term is unknown. Kids are quite young now, so it may make sense in the future to put a parking spot over here. That's my take. Of course, happy to support whatever decision you ultimately make. All right, so talk about the landscape design. So in a shade tolerant landscape, what we try to do is, especially in an area where it's really dark canopy, we generally try to color block the plant. So meaning we have a group of plants that provide one dense color, they move on to the next color plants, that dense color, etc., etc. We also try where possible to really bright pop of color and seasonal to make it look really attractive. Now, in your case, living in HP, it's going to be the color blocking is going to come in waves, so things are quite curvy. Either it's really curvy, really dense rows, or it's going to be very linear. I don't view your house as a linear geometric house with this walk path. That's why the landscape beds are curved. Also, really popular in HP is going to be density of flowers, so lots of color. So that's why I put lots of colored flowers on one side, but we can change out seasonally because this is the area that gets the most sun. There is some seasonal flowers we certainly could put on the left side of your property that would work well in the shade. It's going to be really limited to begonias. In the winter, you're going to be limited as well. Not a lot of flowers in winter do well in the deep shade. Okay, so starting on the right, you got Mondo grass. This is just a regular Mondo grass, easy to maintain, pretty hard to kill. Seasonal flowers, as we talked about. Then over here, it's going to be the Mondo. Is going to follow that density we talked about. So it's going to be layers through here, offset. Then I went with a dwarf Yopon holly, evergreen shrub. Along the back, I went with endless summer hydrangea. This particular hydrangea, it'll be the color of the flowers, all based on the density, or correction, the acidity of the soil. So the more acid, the more blue. If you want to do, and I did it along the back, so it's a little offset, as you can see, just because we have that like I said, we talked about that color blocking, so you have that long row of color. There's a couple things we can change if you didn't like it, which I'll show you in a minute. We can also swap to a different hydrangea over here, so it's a blue hydrangea versus the endless summer hydrangea. But from low maintenance, easy to maintain, pretty long summer blooms, endless summer is hard to beat. These are Nandinas. They're offset 2 rows. It kind of gets a reddish color in winter, really pretty, really low maintenance as well. Then I went with, excuse me, variegated liripe to give that pop of second color. Just a pop of hosta here. Love hostas, one of my favorite plants. Mine are blooming right now. Then over here I did a silver leaf hosta, so we have a different color. In the back here, filler plant is a fern. With this case, I did a coral bark Japanese maple. We could relocate your Japanese maples, but they're not looking that great. So it may make sense to start fresh. Side of the property, which I didn't include, just mulch over here with just some simple dwarf Burford hollies. Really simple, or no plants over there and just gravel or mulch, just so we have something on the ground over there. You really can't see that space, so I wouldn't invest a whole lot in plants over there. All right, now going through a few options. So what we could do is we could just go with a traditional shrub here, like a Burford holly. Let me move this up. Let me grab the Burfords and bring them down. So that's what it looks like with a Burford. Then if you really like hydrangeas, which I probably wouldn't do this. We've done this a few occasions. I don't know if your house is a good fit for it. Where we do a really dense hydrangea. We've done one house where we've taken the hydrangeas all the way across, double stacked. Drawback to the hydrangeas is in the winter they're going to turn to sticks. All the leaves are going to fall off, flowers are going to fall off. Then you'll cut back about 2/3 of it. It'll just be sticks in spring, and they bloom. My hydrangeas aren't, the flower's not blooming right now, but mine are full of leaves. And that generally hits about second or third week of spring. All right, from an evergreen perspective, pretty much the hydrangeas are going to die back, the hostas will die back, the liriopes will lay down, look a little bleh in the winter, but they won't die back. The mondos will stay all year long. If it gets really cold, they may kind of lay down a little bit, and of course your seasonal flowers are just seasonal flowers. Then over here we added, I took this tree out here, really just trying to maximize how much sun comes through here. Plus this tree is just wonky for the space. If you want to leave it, no big deal. I changed this. I'm going to see if we can remove this stone, add some gravel here, and add a big pot here is what I would do if possible. That way you're pulling up, you see a pop of color in the pot. All right, of course the yard will be zoysia, then it's not a lot of grass you got there, but we'll make it zoysia. We're going to lower your grade, fix your drainage, and all that stuff we already talked about. From a border, we will just do a simple steel edge. Really thick, that way it fades into the landscape, you really don't see it. I would not spend crazy amount of money on a fancy border. It just wouldn't look that great for your house. In this style of house, I think we emphasize the plants and de-emphasize the border. Maximize this cool looking walk path up front, a sea of green with pops of colored plants in the background. Lastly, as I talked about, always lights. It's pretty hard to have too many lights on a house. It'd be nice if we can get one over here, just can't. Or we could strap it to your house, but it may look goofy. So we could get a light over here if we did that. Then, of course, lights on your trees. Well, of course, we're not cutting down your trees. I just left the trees in place, or the stumps in place, just so you can see the landscape without the trees. All right, so let me pause there, send this video over to you, and get some feedback. Any questions? Or you're a first-time guest looking at this video, you can check us out at crimsonlandscape.com.